Come on in. It feels like Cribs, like MTV Cribs. This guy decided to crap out on me right before you got here. But we're gonna watch some YouTube videos and we are gonna figure it out because, yeah, it's just an opportunity to better get to know my machine. My dad is an upholsterer, so I grew up around sewing machines. Even the sound of the sewing machine is so nostalgic to my childhood. Always grew up around sewing. Yeah, my dad's done that for as long as I can remember. So just if for people that don't know what upholstery is, pretty much when you have a old couch or chair and there's a rip in it or a stain in it, you can get it reupholstered and have new fabric on it with more padding, and that's just what he's always done. So my dad recently came down with dementia, so we actually worked on this project together because once it started becoming more serious and he started to lose his memory a little more, I just thought, like, damn, I took it for granted that he was always at home working on this, and I never really took the time to sit alongside him and really learn the art and the craft. And it's one of the original arts that we have. So I was like, I really need to do this now or never. So we found this old white chair on the side of this street right here, and I brought it over to my dad, and I bought some yards of fabric, and we reupholstered it. So that's the project I have with my dad. I did learn a bunch of things, like learning how to make buttons. I learned how to make the welting. So it was a pretty cool project. So that's really special to me because now his sickness is a little more serious. So I'm glad I at least have that to have that memory with him. I was recently laid off, so I did lose my job, unfortunately, and had a lot of extra time on my hands, and art has always been where I direct that time off. Art or skating or being outdoors, and since that wasn't really a thing that was cool anymore, staying indoors and working on art was just the go-to. The first frenzy to kind of go down with all of this was the toilet paper thing. So that was just so funny to me, like toilet paper of all things. So I was making these little toilet paper patches. So I was sewing a bunch of those. I was offering to sell them or just kind of give them away. I've always had a hard time selling things. I think that's always a thing that artists struggle with, is putting a price tag on their passion and something they devote hours to. So that's where it started, and then the mask thing started happening. So I was starting to make some patterns, and I originally wanted to make them with big smiley faces just because I felt like that was what was missing. I'm a big, your mouth is where your expression's at, and so to have that be restricted or limited was just kind of, it's weird for people that want to connect in that way. So I wanted to be funny with it and make big smiles. And I was thinking too, for kids, that would be a cool thing to have too, or like do their favorite character smiles on the mask, because this must be such a weird time for a kid to go outside and see all the adults with masks and everybody staying away from each other. So I just thought that would be a funny way to make it fun for them in a way. Yeah, and then I started out making felt ones, and they were cute and silly, and then I just started stepping up the materials. So I was like, okay, felt's not going to work long term, and it's not going to wash well, and you want to keep it sanitary, so let's move on to cotton. And and then people started requesting them more, and people's workplaces started making them mandatory. So people were coming to me and asking me if I could make some, and yeah, it just kind of snowballed. And so I started keeping track of my orders, and then everything just kind of exploded, and it just turned into a full-on like workforce here. This is my favorite part. Turn those inside out. Make sure those corners come out. So that's our mask coming together, one piece. These were the orders that I had over the last week or so. These are the orders I've completed so far. So I've done 50 already, but yeah, so I've had some bigger ones, like this person wanted 11, this person wants 10, and then got some like, that person wants 10, and that's the person I'm giving them to for free. But she wants them with like a filter flap. I think she saw somewhere that was more effective, so I'm gonna have to learn how to do a new pattern for those. But yeah, it's once I started getting the bigger orders, those were just like, okay, that takes all day to do, so that really like sets everything back. It's really the ones that take the most times are the embroidery ones. These are all done by hand, and so even just like that tongue takes 20-30 minutes to fill in, so it's a lot of time for just sitting and like watching a movie and sewing. This is another little Mickey Mouse one. It's been a popular theme, and this one's kind of funny. It's a little anime mouth. This is like a character smile that's just a line, but it's cute. I've been taking a lot of time on the kids ones because that's who I originally made it for the intention in the first place. Another kids one, big Batman fan. I did that. Still translates even with the creases. These that I hand sewed. My friend has this motto, like "Stay Buck," so I embroidered that. That's a little surprise. He didn't request that, but had some extra time. I put the purple laces to have Mamba mentality. But I can kind of like do that kind of stuff I see the girls doing. I first got into skating because I wanted to kind of trick myself into exercising. I was never a big like team sports person or anything like that. Even going to a gym or exercising in public is kind of a weird thing for me. So skating was my go-to, and I would just do the beach path when I first moved to Long Beach, actually. And yeah, I just kind of progressed from there. I spent like hours just trying to get good at it, and I didn't have Moxis yet, but I wanted to see if I was serious about the hobby before throwing down on a pair of Moxis. And then, yeah, finally I was like, you know what, I think I put in my time and my miles, and it's time to upgrade. Yeah, and then that just opened more doors. That's what kind of opened up park skating and this new community of girls that I've met through that, which when I moved to Long Beach, I obviously didn't have a community of friends here, let alone a community of girlfriends here, so skating was my segue to that. I took like a ramp skating like 101 class one day, and I met a girl and we exchanged. I told myself before I left the house that day, April, you're gonna exchange numbers with one other person, because that's very outside my comfort zone, and not that kind of it feels weird to make friends as an adult, you know, like when you're in school, you sit next to somebody that you might vibe with, or there's somebody in your class that you might vibe with, but when you're out in the open world and you don't have those things that bring people together, it's weird to just like, hey, you're cool and this is my name, you know. So I told myself to make a friend that day, and yeah, I came home with this girl's number, and we just kind of started meeting up and skating together, and from there it's grown to this group of like 30 girls that we skate with. Las Cuadrinas is what we call ourselves, and yeah, it's awesome. It's a great community. Even throughout what's going on right now, it's a great way. We have this group text, and if we're feeling down or in such uncertain times right now, but when we're feeling that way, we just jump on the group text, and there's such an overwhelming like wave of support that comes in through that. So that's been a lifesaver through this, even just mental health wise, having these girls. It's super fun. I'm so grateful that I have that outlet. It's a bummer right now seeing what they're doing to the skate parks and the precautions. Everybody's taking precautions, but it's a bummer when you see like spiky rocks poured all over the parks right now, or mulch poured over the parks right now. But they'll be back. I skated maybe like week 1 of all of this when people were still not taking it as seriously as it is now, and people were still kind of going out and being social. We did go to a skate park, but that was the last time I've been to a public place to skate. The extent of my skating lately has just been doing like little deliveries in the neighborhood. I have a lot of friends that live in the neighborhood, so I've just been dropping off stuff there, like just going up and down the block sometimes, but I haven't really been to a park, and that's not really the parks are closed right now, so that's not really an option. But we've always got curbs, and before I got busy with all the masks and stuff, we were practicing, like we would put a carpet out in the lawn, and I would practice ollies on the skateboard because that's a newer thing for me. I usually just roller skating, but I picked up the skateboard in the last month or so we've been practicing that in the front yard. And yeah, there's always curbs, and this is a great corner for that, so I'm grateful for that. But I haven't really skated as much as I used to, for sure. Yeah, I miss it. I've done like little like solo dance parties in here and like in the garage. I'm so blessed to have wood floors now. But yeah, that's nice to have that release of energy too, because there's all this pent up energy that we're not releasing anymore now that we have to stay indoors. So it's nice to like have a solo dance party in that way. But the last time I sewed a lot was when I did break my leg skating. I couldn't work. I was on disability, and I couldn't really move. I was immobile. I was in a wheelchair for some of the time, and so staying still and just having all my supplies around me. I could have my threads and my fabric, and I was just sewing, and that's where these came along. I was making these and just kind of selling these little, I don't know if you can read that. It says Crazy Cat Lady, and the font is made out of cats. It's kind of cute. I did a lot of skate themed ones too, because I think I was missing skating so much, and skating was the reason that I was in the situation that I was in. So that was a cool way too, while I was out of work, to kind of gain a little bit of, little bit of money here and there. But like I said, it's always hard to put a price on those kind of things for an artist. So for the masks, I was just kind of asking for a donation, like, hey, if you can toss $5 my way, that'd be really rad. Some people, I just feel like, wanted to support me. They knew the situation I was in, so they kind of wouldn't take a donation as a option. I don't, I feel uncomfortable with taking handouts or taking like charity, so it feels good for me when I'm able to hand something back to that person, and it feels like more of a trade, so that I feel ethically okay with it. But there are people out there that just want to help and like don't want to take a donation of a mask, as they don't want to take that donation, just like I don't want to take that donation. They are wanting to help me, and it's been nice to see that too. Like, I've been surprised by like an ex-regular of mine, since I don't work there anymore, but she surprised me with a Venmo, like a virtual tip, and that just like, it brought me to tears. It made my day. It was really sweet, and you know, I'll end up giving her a mask as a payment or as a thank you, because it's all that I can give at this time. But it feels like something, and it's been nice in that way of seeing, like, I have friends who make elderberry syrup, and I traded some elderberry for a mask for her and her son, and I've traded, like, you know, groceries for masks, and you know, it's almost, everybody's kind of coming up with a new form of payment as far as the goods and the services that they're able to trade for things. So it's been really beautiful to see that during this time. The more people are generous in some ways, the more I can donate to people who are in the same situation that I'm in. Like, I have an order of 10 masks that I'm just going to ship out for free, because this woman, I've never met her, she just was a friend of a friend, but she messaged me and just asked if I can make her 10, and yeah, it just didn't feel right to, I'm not in this to really make money. I'm in it to honestly, like, use my time in a constructive way, and there's a need for this and people are wanting this, so yeah, it gives me a sense of purpose in that way. So we've made a list in our kitchen of, like, what are the good things, so we can just, like, reflect on that if we ever feel overwhelmed, because it's really easy. I've had some friends who have just slipped me money in my Venmo just for supplies, like, even if it's $12 for anything you might need for the masks, and it's so beautiful to see that, because it's just like, I think her little message was, thank you for helping the community, and that just felt like so nice to have that support from my friend who's not in the best position. She's in the same position that I'm in, but you know, it's like a little extra goes a long way, even if it's for somebody's soul, not really for their, you know, monetary reasons. I think we all go through our waves of feeling overwhelmed and happy and okay, I'm chill, I got this, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then you feel like laughing or crying, and sometimes you do both at the same time. Making masks for my community means that I'm helping in a way. I feel like I've always been a natural helper, and I feel like even if I can't help in a bigger scope of things right now, at least I can help in this small way where you're helping your neighbor feel more protected in a way. And it's amazing that now our government is even calling for people at home, like private citizens, to make masks for hospitals, and that was kind of like a alarming thing with this whole with, you know, what's going on right now. But there was just a call for the helpers to come out, and I think that there was a lot of people just waiting to help. There's a lot of able-bodied people that want to be working right now that are told that they can't work right now and they can't look for another job right now, so people are just, I don't know, kind of clamoring to help in a way. And even if it's in a small way, I feel like I'm contributing in some respect. During this time, a lot of people have shared like really beautiful quotes or better points of view, and that Mr. Rogers quote, I think it's like, when I was a young boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would tell me to look for the helpers. And I think that's really what's been like saving my state of mind in this way, is like looking for the helpers, like the people that are checking in on their neighbors and making sure that they're set on their groceries before they go out and get their groceries. Like, it's really beautiful to see the helpers that are coming out of the woodwork in this way. Perfect. As well, cinched in. Yeah. Tucks in under your chin.